I am like so fucking ready to go. I took my pill at 9. I fucking got some extra shit done. I had a piece of cheese before we started.
Oh my God, we are on the same page.
Yeah.
Because I am rip roaring ready.
Okay, well, welcome to SVU Pod Especially Heinous. I'm Gabe.
I'm Tasha.
We are on season 7, episode 11, Alien.
I feel like we just did that intro really NPR.
Dude.
Like, welcome to SVU Pod. I'm Gabe. I'm Tasha.
Okay, let me try this again.
Okay.
Welcome to SVU Pod Especially Heinous. I'm Gabe.
I'm Tasha.
We are on season 7, episode 11, Alien. Okay? This episode fucking pissed me off. I can't.
I know. There's so much to this. I'm just like, I'm not going to be angry. I'm going to be sad because my anger jumps forward first. And I've been getting really annoyed with my own voice editing, going like, God, Tasha, you're so fucking angry all the time. You're just like, yeah, I'm fucking, this is stupid and whatever.
Okay.
And I'm like, it just takes a lot of energy. So I'm like, I'm going to cry about it instead.
Okay. Opening scene, it's New York City during the day. A fucking tan car swerves around another car, crossing traffic. Everybody's like, whoa. You can hear people go, whoa. And it pulls into a hospital, like pickup drop-off area. A young boy covered in blood is shoved out of the passenger door onto the ground, and then the driver speeds away. Obviously, the hospital staff rush over to check on the boy. Later, SVU's on the scene. Munch tells Benny and Staves what's going on. The victim is Sean Hamill. He's a 5th grader. Sean was stabbed in the fucking back. Emergency room noticed he had bruising on his chest and butt, so they had to call SVU. Someone beat this kid up, and they didn't find any sexual trauma so far, but they're waiting on a rape kit. Nobody saw the driver, but the security is searching through camera footage right now. The doctor comes over, and Sean is out of surgery. In Sean's room, his parents are by his side, and Benny and Staves ask him some questions. The last thing Sean remembers is his locker and then like maybe playing stickball after school, and then he woke up in the hospital. His mom tells Benson that Sean's been getting bullied and was covered in bruises after school the week before. Benny asks Sean who did that to him, but he says he was climbing a tree and fell and nothing happened. Okay, you guys? And then Mom's like, somebody beat him up, and Sean's too afraid to say who it is. Staves tries to get Sean to tell them who the bully is, but Sean says, later, okay? He says he's fine and wants to go home. Oh my God. And then Sean tries to like move and realizes he can't feel his legs. He asks his dad what's wrong and starts to cry, and his dad holds him. His mom starts crying because they know the answer. They tell him he's going to be okay. Fuck me. Theme song. At Sean's school, Benny and Staves speak with Principal Parker and Father Miller. This is a private Catholic school. Go ahead.
Oh my God. Principal Parker has been in a few notable things, a bunch of soaps. Mama's Family. Do you remember that show?
Mm-hmm. I loved that show.
Oh my God. I was like, I have this whole thing about having to explain to you what the show was. Vicki Lawrence played Mama. I was looking at old photos and I'm like, this is a woman who was too young for that role. So they put a hard front old lady wig and glasses on her.
Yeah.
And she's like,
oh, and she had like the best like zingers and like,
yeah.
They're like, Mama. And she's like, fuck you. Fuck all of you. And I was like, yeah, Mama, fuck them.
Principal Parker was also in 5 episodes of The Nanny and 1 episode of Elf. What?
Oh.
But my favorite, she was the judge in Blow. Do you remember? I've seen that movie so many times.
Oh, and he's like, oh, these imaginary lines, whatever. And she's like, well, these imaginary, yeah.
Gosh, your concepts are really interesting, Mr. Young. That was, unfortunately for you, the line you crossed was real and the plants you brought with you were illegal. It was so good. I went back and I watched just that scene. I have stopped notes to watch a full movie before, but I was like, no, you can watch that scene and that's it. She's the principal here, and she is with the father.
Mm-hmm. So Father Miller says there is a 0 tolerance policy for violence. If there's even one incident, you're expelled. When Benny asks who they threw out for beating up Sean the previous week, Principal Parker says no one because Sean said he fell from a tree. She's lucky he didn't crack his head open. Stabler tells Principal Parker and Father Miller about Sean getting stabbed in the back and how he won't walk ever again. Stabler wants to speak with anyone who had seen Sean that day. Father says he hadn't seen Sean. Benson's like, oh, really? The security footage from the hospital shows Sean being dumped out of your car. Father Miller says his car has been in the parking lot all day, but Benny tells him that the license plates are a clear match. Principal Parker tells him that Miller had been grading papers all afternoon in the library. They're really setting it up for it could be anybody. Yeah, or like...
See, they're really setting it up to me. I mean,
oh, the father did it.
Are they going to do the low-hanging fruit? this thing. But that's the
SVU of it all.
Yeah, that's the red herring. That's the illusion, Michael.
Mm.
Tricks are something whores do for money or cocaine.
Stabler wants to know why his effing car was at Mercy Hospital then. Father Miller tells him that he leaves the keys in the visor of his car so parishioners can borrow it whenever they want. Which, you're in New York City, brother. Holy shit.
Right.
Benson wants a list of people who borrow the car. Stabler lets them know they will need to interview the students.
So that's what they're going to do. They're going to go interview students. Toots is cutely talking to a little cutie outside of school. The way that, you bend down, you put your hands on your knees and get down at their level.
Mm-hmm.
She tells him that one time she saw a big kid push Sean down, but she doesn't know the big kid's name. She did see him smoking once. I'm like, you little fucking narc. Nobody asked you that.
Right? Like, you little bitch.
Jesus, Gabe. You stupid little bitch. I hope your parents
I saw him in the trees wearing a Cowboys starter jacket, smoking cigs, and he had an Eddie Furlong I'm literally describing in 4th grade.
Did he smoke in 4th grade?
Yeah. I mean, all those brothers.
I say that like I don't know him. I'm just picturing a 4th grader.
Oh, yeah, no.
But that starter jacket tells me everything I need to know.
I know.
So this little girl's like, he was smoking once. Hop over to Stabler asking an older girl, like a high school age girl, about bullying, and she gives the waspy version of snitches get stitches and does not tell him a thing. Bloop. Now to Benny talking to a high school boy. Just because I'm a recess monitor doesn't make me a narc. She insists he tells, and he does.
Because he is, in fact, a narc.
Yes. She insists he tells, and he does, but like, why you gotta fat shame, Adam?
Yeah, dude.
There's this fat kid that pushes everybody around. He beat the crap out of Sean last week. Charlie Monaghan. I mean, it's...
Then they cut to Charlie. I'm like, I'm sorry, what?
Kids
are so mean.
Kids are terrible people. They're awful. I've said it once. I'll say it a million times. I don't like anybody between the ages of 7 and 25. Fuck off. Leave me alone. I know we have listeners under 25, and I know my children are over 7, but I stand by it. I don't. There's some really great people. Whatever. Anyway, Benny and Stabes call in Charlie and his dad. Charlie was in Unbreakable. He's credited as Thermometer Boy, the other kid in the principal's office with Bruce Willis's kid. I did not go back and watch that, even though I was dying to. He also played young Hal in Shallow Hal, a movie we just talked about, which is bananas.
Oh my God, that's crazy.
His fucking dad, though, you've seen him in a ton of stuff.
Yeah.
Everything. I mean, he was in Philadelphia, Rounders, a ton of rom-coms, TV stuff, including small roles in Ozark and The Leftovers. He's an SVU 4-timer, and this is his 4th appearance, so you also may recognize him because we've seen him 3 times already.
Yeah.
His dad denies that Charlie hit anyone. Stabler asks Charlie why he beat Sean up, and Charlie tells them it's because Sean told him that the reason his girlfriend won't have sex with him is because, quote, she's afraid he'll squash her. So Sean was being a prick. Charlie says he lost it on Sean that day, but has stayed away from him since then. They ask him for his alibi for 4 p.m., and he's got one. His half-sister Emma can vouch for him. He walked her home after school, and they got ice cream around the time Sean would have been getting attacked. Charlie didn't stab Sean. They got to have a chat with Emma.
This wig on this little girl's so bad. But go ahead.
I know. She's not the only one wearing a wig, though. I'm pretty sure that little boy is wearing a wig, too.
Which one, Sean?
Yeah. Maybe that's just his hair. I don't know. Like, it almost looked like they were wearing the same wig. Like, he turned it around backwards and wore it. Emma's staying with her grandparents, Oliver and Deb. Cute. Her mom's in the hospital with lupus. Benson asks Emma, who's like 8-ish, about Charlie. She gives them the exact same story he did. Grandma Deb comes over and explains that's the only time she would see him at school since the high school and elementary school are in different buildings. Benson asks Emma if Charlie had asked her to lie. Ooh-wee, Grandma Deb doesn't like that. P.S. Grandma Deb was in 128 episodes of Dawson's Creek as the blonde one's grandma. I didn't watch enough of that to Michelle
either,
Williams.
But she does look really familiar. Like, she's been in a lot of stuff.
Yeah, she's been in a lot of stuff. That was the longest running one. Emma denies lying and explains that lying is a sin. A vanilla sin, not the mortal kind, but all sins are bad, so you have to never do them no matter what.
At the precinct, Benny tells Craigs that she thinks Emma is lying to protect her brother. Stabler thinks Charlie lost his temper and stabbed Sean, dumps him in the ER, and tells his kid sister to alibi him. Craigan wonders if they're going to bring Charlie in, but they're waiting on the CSU report before they go and find him again. And then Munch walks in, of course, at the right time, and he's like, ask and you shall receive. I'm Jewish, though, so that's not what I can say, or whatever he says. So he has a report. He hands it to Cragen. There were at least a dozen prints all over the car, except the driver's side. Someone wiped the car down. But the perp wasn't as careful with the passenger side of the car. There were some strings from a painter's canvas wedged in the seat, and it matches what the kids use at school for their art projects. Cut back to the Catholic school. Principal Parker shows Munch and Toots the supplies in the art room. There is a big roll of canvas that could have been used to wrap Sean in to keep blood off the car. The car is only about 20 yards from the art room. Charlie could have tossed the canvas into one of the dumpsters, so they're going to have to go through those. There are also large scissors in the room, and all the kids have access to them. So Munch wants CSU to go through the art room. CSU cutie patootie McMillie comes in. She's so cute.
Yeah.
She pops up, and I was like, oh, what a fucking adorable little angel. She says she'll get a team on it. She also checked the security cam footage. At the store across the street, Charlie went in around 4:02 and got an ice cream bar, but he wasn't with his little sister Emma. He had said he walked Emma home at around 3. What in the hell is going on? So at the precinct, Charlie's being interviewed by Benny and Stabes, and Charlie's dad is there again. Benny's like leaning into his face. You're going to jail. You're going to jail, son. You could get 20 years if you're charged as an adult.
Strap in, buddy. You're going to jail.
You're going to jail, guy. Charlie's like, the clock in the store must be wrong, and sticks to the story about walking Emma home. Benny's like, sure, Jan. You think a jury's going to believe your ass, especially when Emma isn't even in the damn videotape? Sean isn't going to walk again because you stabbed him in the back. But Charlie swears he didn't do it. Toots comes in and tells him that they found something. Benny and Stabes meet with Millie and Toots behind the glass, but nothing's there because Cragen's not there. Toots had found some scissors
Just
in
a
the dump.
void.
It's just, yeah.
They just go and they're just like floating in white. And they're like,
Yeah.
is this purgatory? And they're like, no, Cragen went out for a coffee.
It's like them standing in that green vortex in Rick and Morty where they teleport. They're just hanging out there.
There's just a green screen behind them.
Just
The fucking boom mic operator
I was gonna
comes
say the
in,
crew.
but he's wearing a green shirt, and so it's just a floating head holding a microphone.
Toots had found some scissors in the dumpster. Millie tried to take she was like, I found some scissors, and Toots is like, actually, I did.
I was crawling around under old soup. She's like, okay.
Yeah, right under all the tuna casserole. They're the same kind as the school kept in the art room. There are traces of blood on the blades, but the prints are too tiny to be Charlie's. They match a fucking 7 or 8-year-old. The music gets all swelly. Did little Emma stab Sean and Charlie cleaned up the mess? Emma isn't lying to protect Charlie. Charlie is lying to protect Emma.
Back at St. Victor's, we've got a Benson, Stabler, and Principal walk and talk. Principal Parker tells them that Emma's not at school. She's visiting her mom at the hospital. It's just as well. Emma's situation is complicated. She, with a tone, explains that when Emma was enrolled, her mom told the school that she was a single parent. But really, she was hiding the fact that Emma has another mom, a gay mom.
Boo, 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 boo.
I mean, they're both gay moms, but you get it. Like, oh my God. Benny and Stabes don't clutch their pearls like this lady. And she's like, no, I said a gay mom. And they're like, big whoop. A lot of people are gay and have kids. She's like, yeah, but they don't hide it and enroll their children in conservative Catholic schools.
Yeah, they do.
And I go down the railing on the stairs next to them and go, wee, shut up.
Yeah.
When Emma's mom, Kate, got sick, her partner Zoe started coming to school functions, which made the other parents mad. The other parents wanted to expel Emma. They didn't want their children in the same classroom with the daughter of a lesbian.
It's like you live in New York fucking City.
You live in the city. Like there is such a variety. Whatever. This is supposed to be a safe haven. Some of the people kept their kids home, and donors withdrew their support. So Parker expelled her. What?
Yeah.
Don't worry, she has an explanation. Well, how are we supposed to teach catechism with Emma in the room? Homosexuality's a sin, kids. Oh, but that's okay, Emma. Your moms are good people otherwise. She's like, see? This makes sense. But she ended up having to let her back in school because her parents sued. When Emma came back to school, she had a fucking target on her back. So that's why Parker said it's just as well Emma's with her mom at the hospital. The less Emma is at school, the better it is for everyone. Gross.
You're gross.
You're gross.
Lady. You're gross. You're fucking gross. You're a bad person. You're a bad person.
All this is shitty and bad.
I don't care all the nice things that you do for anybody. You're a bad person.
We are falling into this is exactly what this episode is meant to do. You know how like shows, like if you watch This Is Us, it's just like fucking cry porn.
I haven't seen it, but isn't like
it's one of those shows where it's like, oh my God, I'm gonna cry so hard. Family, dad, whatever. This is one of those episodes, like, we're going to get you right where we want you. You're going to be enraged. You're going to have empathy for these people. You're going to be mad. Hopefully. I mean, I'm sure there's plenty of people that wrote NBC.
Dude, it was 2005. This was one of those things that's like, how do I really feel?
Is it? Oh, I guess.
I think so.
Probably.
Because it's 2005. People were like, I mean, this is pre-gay marriage. People literally thought that people turned out gay because they got molested. You know what I mean?
With how disgusted the squad was whenever the topic came up, they were all like, ugh, what? Like the whole time, except for fucking Stabler.
Only Benny was that way.
Oh, maybe I was just that way. So I was like, we're all pissed, right, guys?
Yeah, but sometimes they have episodes that are like, is this an abortion? Is it murder and abortion? And people are supposed to be like, I think this was one of those back then.
I just didn't.
Because it's so clearly disgusting now, but like.
I don't know. I didn't feel like this was as divided as some of the other episodes that they've had where they're like, which one is it? But
I think 2005 people, the average Joe might be like, I don't know what to do. You know what I mean? And it's fucking gross.
Over at Clinton Hospital, Benson and Stabler go to find Emma. They look into her mom's room and see her sitting in a chair by her mom's bed. A woman who definitely utilized the SVU blowout staff comes up behind them and tells them that they can't go in. Her hair was amazing the entire time.
I didn't even see it.
You didn't notice her gorgeous bouncing blowout? Oh,
no.
Incredible. She looked like my cousin Shauna, kind of, which is a huge compliment because I think my cousin Shauna is a gorge woman. Stabler flashes his badge and says they need to speak with Emma. And this lady's Zoe, Emma's other gay mom. She's been in a ton of TV. Office heads will recognize her as Donna from The Office. I remember her as Annie from Caroline in the City, another show in the 90s that had a chokehold on me for some reason.
It had a chokehold on everybody.
I don't.
So did that show Titus. And
I wonder if we just didn't have a lot of television, so we were like, that show ruled, and it just happened to be on at a time that we all watched TV.
Well, and it had that lady from Back to the Future and a ton of other shit, so.
Yeah. Oh, and holiday season, she was in Jingle All the Way. So Zoe, Emma's mom, tells them that Emma didn't have anything to do with what happened to Sean. She heard about Sean from Charlie's dad, which is her partner Kate's ex, right? So Emma's dad. Benson tells Zoe that Charlie and Emma are covering for each other, and they need to speak with Emma to tell them what happened. Zoe tells them Kate's dying. Can this fucking wait? And Benson's like, well, it won't take long. So
just a sec.
I'm just going to do it. So they bring Emma into another room with Zoe. Emma emphatically denies doing anything. Benson tells her that they need the truth, even if it was an accident. They try to appeal to her by being understanding, saying school can be hard and people can be mean. Emma says that Sean called her a freak and told her that she was going to hell because her moms are gay. This is all I know about this episode so far. And I'm like, man, between Charlie and Emma, this kid Sean sounds like a prick.
Yeah.
Benson tells Emma that they know Charlie drove to the hospital. If you don't tell us the truth, Charlie's going to get in a lot of trouble. And Emma's about to cry. I am telling you the truth. Zoe gets pretty firm and insists that Emma didn't hurt Sean, just like she's never hurt any of those other little bigots at school. Stabler asks why they didn't send Emma to a different school if people at St. Victor's are so mean. And Zoe says their faith is important to them and they want her to go to that school because it's the best Catholic school in the city. Zoe and Kate were convinced that Emma could deal with the mean kids at school because she goes to therapy. She also tells Zoe about any problems she has. Then Benny asks her, where were you yesterday at 4 p.m.? Wow. Zoe was at the hospital with Kate, you dicks.
At the precinct, Cregan is frustrated that no one is telling the truth. He wonders how the hell it's so hard to get the truth out of an 8-year-old. We work in SVU. What do you mean? You have rooms, therapists. I mean,
your wheelhouse heavily involves children.
Yeah. Benny says that it's really tough to, quote, break a kid, especially whose mom is dying in the next room. Plus, Emma and her whole family have been getting harassed in the past 6 months since they sued the school. Toot says they've had to change their phone number 2 times, but it didn't do any good. Their home was vandalized, broken windows, and like graffiti. They filed 6 fucking reports and nothing has been done. This is New York. I can't.
New York City.
I can't. Benny brings up that similar shit has happened in other states as well to families who are same sex. Stabler says the family shouldn't have ever even sent Emma to a Catholic school and that they should have expected some pushback from others in the faith. This pisses off Benson.
Shut your Catholic mouth.
Yeah, as it should. She's like, I'm sorry, what? You think Zoe should stay in the closet just to make a bunch of homophobes happy? And then Stabler says, you don't send your kid to military school if you're a pacifist. What? Benny and Stabes go at it for a bit, and he's like, yeah, I'm Catholic, and that means believing in certain things. And Zoe knows that, and it makes zero sense, and Stabler can suck my fucking butthole. Okay?
Please,
Yeah.
gross.
He can suck my butt.
And it's a terrible analogy. Like using the
It's
military. A
terrible.
pacifist, where in there do you correlate the fact that they are also Catholic and want a Catholic upbringing and they have a strong faith in the Catholic faith, right?
Yeah.
So, God, just
Whatever.
It's not.
And then
I'm not in this comment section. It's
Right.
whatever.
And then Toot says that Zoe sent their kid to the school to, quote, make a point. Munch says someone has to fight the cause. And then Toot says that it shouldn't be through Emma. See, Benny's really the only one. Oh, Munch too. Toot says that Emma is, quote, so messed up that she sees a therapist 2 times a week. Cut to like 2024. We're all seeing therapists 2 times a week.
Oh
I mean,
my God. If I could see
it's
my
like twice a
therapist
month,
twice a
but-
week,
Oh, God. And good for them.
right.
Like-
They're fucking ahead of their time.
Yeah. Craigie says that Zoe must also be getting counseling. Her phone records show multiple calls to Father Justin Miller. Why did I say his whole name? Like he's a serial killer. Benny wonders if the calls were to, I don't know, borrow his car. Ooh. Benny and Stabes are at Father Miller's house. He doesn't think that Zoe has ever called him, and they're like, okay, so why is her number on your phone? He says he gave his number to Emma to call if she had, any trouble at school and needed someone to talk to, which I was like, I don't like that.
Yeah.
Then he got on my radar for a minute. Emma had told him that she was having trouble with Sean all the time. He picked on Emma any chance he got. Father Miller says that he spoke with Sean and pleaded with him about the bullying, and then he tried to go to Sean's parents and got censured for it. Stabler is like, oh, so you knew Sean was bullying Emma and kept quiet to save your own neck? Father Miller says that he likes being a priest, and he's super close to the school kicking him out. And he also didn't want to get the school bad press.
Stabler's all over the place here, and I'm like, ugh. In his mind, it's expected that Zoe and Katie know their daughter is going to get shit on because Catholic school, but now he expects a priest to speak up? Since fucking when? Since fucking when?
He says something in coming up here in a minute that I was like, okay, I thought you said, okay, hold on. So Father Miller knows that he should have done something. He was hoping that the beating from Charlie would make Sean leave Emma alone. And it worked for only a week, though. But it just seemed like Sean was planning the next horrible thing to do to Emma. After being questioned by Benny and Stabes at the school earlier, he went back to the art room and found Emma's ponytail in an envelope. And it was a long ponytail with a little butterfly clip. Sean had cut it off, and Emma used the scissors to stab him. And then I was like, is this principal covering for Sean, hiding evidence because Emma deserved it because her parents are gay? But that doesn't make any sense because he just gave it to him. I don't know why I typed that. At the hospital, Stabler is talking to Sean, and he asks him if he remembers seeing Emma the day he was stabbed. Sean says he thinks she was there, but he didn't talk to her. Stabler asks Sean if he likes Emma. Do you ever pick on her? And Sean says that he only bothers Emma because she's weird. And by weird, he means her moms are gay together. Why does this kid think that it's weird to be gay?
Yeah, why is that weird?
Why do you think so?
Is it influenced by your parents?
Oh, is it?
Maybe.
So Sean tells Stabler that the Bible says, quote, homosexuality is a sin, and that in Corinthians it says gay people are going to hell. And that's in the New Testament. The Old Testament is way harsher. And then here's where this gets weird. Again, Stabler says, I don't remember the Bible saying that. And I'm like, I'm sorry, you just said in the precinct that if you send a kid to a Catholic school, when you're Catholic, it means you believe in certain things. Like, what the fuck are you doing? So Stabler has an evidence bag with Emma's ponytail in it, and he puts it on Sean's lap. He asks Sean if what the Bible says is reason enough to cut off Emma's hair. And then Stabler asks him why he did it, and Sean starts crying, and he says it was a joke. He then says that all he did was cut her hair, and then she stabbed him in the back, and now he can't walk. He doesn't think that's fair. So Benson comes in. Sean's parents showed up at the hospital, and they got to go talk to him. Stabler comes out of the room, and Sean's parents want to know why they were speaking to him. Didn't they need their permission? They don't need permission since Sean is a victim. And then Sean's mom wants to know if he remembered anything. Stabler tells him that Sean was bullying someone. Then Sean's mom goes, that Emma should have never been allowed at the school. Like, she knew.
Oh,
Can you
yeah.
believe that? Benny is not happy about that at all.
Mm-mm.
She's like, I'm sorry, what did you just say? What the fuck did you just say? The dad says that they pay a lot of money for Sean to go to a private school and should have a say in what their son is exposed to. And Benny's
so fucking nasty.
Benny's just like, oh my fucking God, I can't believe this. Mom says that they told Sean to feel sorry for people like Emma's moms and pray for them. Sable's like, yeah, that's not the message Sean got. And then dad comes to this realization. He's like, did fucking Emma stab Sean? And Stabler says, yeah. Oh my God. Then Sean's dad says, I don't care if Sean called her, and throws a bunch of crazy gay slurs out there.
Yeah.
And he's like, arrest her.
He had those in the holster.
He had those.
This is not shit that he doesn't say.
That's shit that they say around the fucking dinner table at home.
Right. And I don't care. Like, oh, we wanted him to feel sorry for her moms and pray for them and whatever. Bullshit. That shit is rooted in hate. There is hate behind it, and they feel that. Those kids fucking feel that. They know that.
Dude, this is why with like the politics that Trump, like when people say like, oh, he says things that we talk about around the dinner table. I'm like, what kind of shit? What are you saying around the dinner table?
Benson and Stabes head over to Kate and Zoe's apartment. Benson tells Emma they know what happened, but Zoe's like, you believe that little monster? She's under the impression that Emma's ponytail's gone because she got gum in it and Charlie had to help her get it out. All of a sudden, we're covered with delicious Bush's baked beans. They've been dumped from barrels suspended above us like Nickelodeon slime because that beautiful bean footage was swelling. I don't know.
A tsunami of beans.
It was the Kids' Choice Awards, and we were just like, green slime? Not this year. Costco
beans.
barrels of beans.
Big old barrel beans.
Barrel of beans. Barrel of beans. That's the whole crowd was chanting. It was
That was
amazing.
my nickname in high school. Good old bean barrel.
So with that music swell, we know fucking Emma breaks and tells Zoe, Benson, and Stabler what happened. Sean, the hateful little fuck, had been picking on Emma, calling her a gay slur. Then he tried to kiss her to get her to prove she's not a lesbian, and she pushed him away. He grabbed her, cut off her hair, and called her the slur again. Her little accent is so cute. She's got this like kind of, I don't even know how to, it's some East Coast accent, but she goes, I was so mad. She grabbed the scissors and stabbed him, making him fall and hit his head. Then she ran and got Charlie, and he drove Sean to the hospital in Father Miller's car. Emma's sobbing, apologizes for lying, and Zoe hugs her and tells her it's going to be okay. Benson tells Zoe they have to arrest Emma. And I'm like, this is horseshit.
Mm-hmm.
Zoe wants to know if it can wait until Emma gets to see Kate in the hospital. You know, her mom who's dying in the hospital?
Mm-hmm.
Thank God it's Benny, because she tells Zoe to get an attorney and bring Emma to the precinct by 9 a.m. the next morning. Back at the precinct, Benny, Stabes, and Novak are talking about the case. Benson says that Emma's a good kid. She'd never been in trouble until this. It's obviously because Sean was fucking terrorizing her. Novak tells them that a new prosecutor is trying Emma's case. She doesn't know him, but heard he's a fucking hard ass. Garrett Gillespie. Gillespie at law. Okay.
Gillespie at law.
It's late at night at the precinct. Just then Zoe comes in with Emma, and the gang's like, we weren't expecting you till morning. I mean, it's not like they were going to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
And who comes strolling in with them? None other than Attorney Kressler, Esquire.
At law.
At law. He hands over a motion to suppress Emma's confession on the grounds that they interrogated her without a parent present. Benson argues that Kate was in the hospital, but she was questioned in front of Zoe, Emma's other mom. What's the prob? Zoe isn't recognized legally as Emma's mom, and she doesn't get to make decisions for Emma. Kressler's like, she's as much a legal guardian to Emma as a babysitter would be. Zoe's going along with what Kressler says because she doesn't want her decisions to hurt Emma. And I'm like, yeah, it's fucking insulting she's not recognized, but
Totally.
I'm all for this right now. This is the system that fucking oppresses this community. Use it the only time it gives you any kind of advantage.
Yeah, I mean, Benny literally says, like, Zoe, how could you say that? You've been with this child since she was born. You've raised her. How can you say that you're only a glorified babysitter or something? And she's like, you're right. I should be recognized as a parent, but I'm not, and I'm not gonna fucking say that now,
right,
and hurt fucking Emma. Like,
this
God.
is called a loophole. You know about those? I know you know about those because I just happened to find one before you did.
Bitches.
All of you. The next day, Novak meets Gillespie. He's only in a couple episodes. I'm not sure why he gets such a grand, this guy is a lot introduction. He got a call from Sean's parents wondering why Emma hasn't been arrested. So he's looking for answers. She tells him about the motion from Kressler. He says he doesn't need a confession to convict her. Novak asks him if he wants to send her to jail for 10 years. Like, this is a little fucking kid. What are you doing? Gillespie's focused on the fact that Sean was paralyzed. But Novak reminds him of how Sean tormented Emma. She belongs in counseling, not juvie. Gillespie doesn't care. He's a hard ass, remember? He tells Novak to tell SVU they need to fucking arrest Emma. I feel like a judge would take all of this into consideration, but I get that you wouldn't even want to get that far as, defense. But
so at the hospital, Betty and Stabes go to Emma's mom's room, Kate, when that's sick. Grandma Deb, Zoe, and Charlie are in the room. Grandma Deb tells them that Emma went to get some juice, and why are you guys here? Stabler tells them that he's really sorry, but they have to arrest Emma. Charlie's like, you cannot take her. And Kate is awake. She says Emma told her that she didn't do anything. And then Zoe begs them to not do this, but Stabler tells her that they have no choice and reminds her that she promised to bring Emma in the next day.
yeah.
Grandma is pissed about that. What'd you do, Zoe? And Zoe's like, stay out of it, Grandma Deb. You can tell they got some beef.
Oh, yeah.
And then I thought, oh my God, is it the grandma? Is she doing all this stuff? Kate dies and they take Emma from Zoe? Benson comes in the room with Emma who's holding her hand. Emma tells her mom that Benson said that she has to go with her. Charlie offers to stay with Kate while Zoe and Grandma go with Emma to the precinct. At the precinct, Novak asks Benson how it went. Not great. She had to put an 8-year-old in lockup overnight. Not going great.
That's one of my favorite lines from Mad Men. Hey, how's it going? Not great, Bob.
I don't remember.
No.
Novak thinks Emma will get let out tomorrow morning and get to stay home until the trial. All of a sudden, James Decker comes in and says, home to her grandparents, I hope. He is representing Kate's parents, Grandma Deb and Grandpa Oliver. Grandma's also there and she wants to see Emma, but she's not allowed. Decker says that this whole situation wouldn't have happened if Zoe hadn't, quote, forced her lifestyle on Kate and Emma. And then Benson's like, oh my God, I cannot even handle this. Kate didn't choose her sexual orientation, which to me in 2005 was not ahead of its time, but like people have been saying that. People are like, no, you choose it,
Yeah, I mean, people still say that shit, but it was a lot louder back then. Like that argument was.
Right.
Mainstream-wise, I guess.
Yeah, mainstream-wise. Grandma Deb says, quote, Kate was happy being a wife and a mother until Zoe came along. Decker says that Emma needs someone to look out for her interests. Novak says that Emma has a court-appointed lawyer for that reason. And Decker says, really dramatic. We'll see about that.
We'll see about that.
At family court, State is requesting that Emma be placed in a juvenile facility until the trial because she's clearly a violent child.
This is so wild. This whole thing is fucking wild. And this is why I'm like, oh, it's very obvious that we're supposed to be enraged. This is a little girl, a very sweet little girl who was terribly bullied, and this happened, and that's too bad. That's why I feel like it was so dramatically supposed to make us pissed and defensive of Emma.
Yeah. Kressler says that Emma does not have a history of violence and she should be paroled to her parents. The judge agrees, but requires her to wear an ankle monitor and stay in her mom's house. Gillespie says, well, that's a problem because her mom is in the hospital and she has no legal guardian. Zoe speaks up and says, like, well, I'm her other mom. I've had her since she was a kid. But the judge isn't having it because Zoe has no legal paperwork. Then Decker stands and introduces himself, and he's like, oh my God, I have an idea. This just came out of the top of my head.
What?
Grandma and Grandpa could watch her. They already watch her a bunch because Kate's in the hospital. Emma is like, I want to go home with Mama Zoe, but Judge tells her that she can't. He then reminds Zoe that she claimed to have no custodial rights over Emma when she was arrested, but now she's changing her mind. She can't have it both ways. Fuck you. But so the judge releases Emma to her grandparents. Emma and Zoe hug. Zoe tells Emma it's okay and that it's just going to be for a couple of days.
I was bummed when the judge was like, nope, because you did this earlier in this scene, but I was also like, there's no way they were just going to let that pass. They weren't going to let her fucking loophole the system.
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty cut and dry in this. Like, you're not on any paperwork and she has living relatives who will take her,
Right, yeah. This judge was in Lady Bird, Manchester by the Sea, which I still haven't watched because of all of the cry warnings I've gotten. Lincoln, fucking Dune, he was in a bunch of stuff. He's very familiar looking, even though he's only been this judge in 2 episodes of SVU.
I haven't seen any of those that you just mentioned. I know I should have watched Dune, but I just never have.
You didn't watch Lady Bird?
No, I don't even know what that's. Oh. It's about a dog or something.
No,
right?
it's got Saoirse Ronan in it.
Mm.
It's about a dog. I don't.
Or is that Hank Hill's dog's name, Ladybird?
I don't know.
That might be.
Back at the precinct, Father Miller finds Benny for a little walk and talk about Emma. Benson tells him that the worst case scenario is that she'll go to a juvenile facility until she's fucking 18 years old.
Mhm.
Father Miller wants to help and offers to testify that Sean was a bully, but that would be hearsay. We all know that. They need actual proof. And I'm like, oh, I bet he has some. Father Miller tells Benson to check the instant messaging program on the computers at school. Principal Parker had software installed that saved all of the messages that were sent. Because usually they would just delete themselves, but not at this school.
Oh, it's school.
In family court, we come in with Benson as Sean is up on the stand giving his testimony of what happened when he woke up in the hospital and found out he was paralyzed. Gillespie sees Benny and asks the judge for a brief pause. Benson brings over papers and tells Gillespie that it's proof Sean's a fucking bully. And she reads some of it out loud to him. It's all hateful, unprovoked shit on these messenger
Right? Like,
records.
what was one random message like, hey, I'll see you after school and it's gonna hurt or something like that? Like, something fucked up?
Yeah, just like really aggressive, harassing. Like, you wouldn't be able to spin it any other way than this is fucking major bullying shit. And everything's recorded, so it's not like Emma's end of shit. It's not like she's going like, yeah, well, fuck you. It's just this kid fucking bullying her. Benson tells him that she has to share the messages with the defense, which will trash Sean's credibility and Gillespie's case. So Gillespie's like, I need a recess, judge. Back at the precinct, Benson updates Cragen and Stabler on what happened in court. It took Gillespie about 10 minutes to work out a deal for Emma to be back home with Zoe. Counseling, anger management, and monthly court evaluations. Ugh, what a relief. We're wrapped up, right, guys? Neat little package of half beers, right, guys? Oh, we're all done. Decker comes in. No! He tells them that they need to remove Emma from Zoe's custody. Cragen tells him that unless there's been a crime, they can't do that. They can't do anything about it. That's family court shit.
Mm-hmm.
Decker tells him that Zoe's been sexually abusing Emma since Kate got sick. Stabler tells him that they have to hear it from Emma. And Benson looks suspicious. Pretty big coincidence that this comes out just after Zoe gets custody. Decker does that cocky head wiggle like, oh yeah? Oh, what about this? And he pulls out a photo. Emma showed this to her grandparents. It's a photo of Zoe and Emma in bed, and in the photo, Emma's naked. Decker thinks there are more pics like this in the apartment.
CSU and SVU are at the apartment. Cutie Patootie Millie doesn't find anything on the computer. Benson finds vacation pictures, then finds a picture of Emma and Zoe in the tub together, which to me, I'm like, this is just normal, like, right? Yeah, the tub stuff, she's getting a little old. I mean, some of the arguments for it later, like the photos, I understand that they are all innocent in nature, but it was like some of these arguments were a stretch. Yeah.
We wanted her to feel good about herself, and it's like,
yeah, and
what?
I was like, that's weird.
odd.
But
I get that they weren't, I don't know. It was a weird reach, but
it was. Yeah.
But I believe them at the end. It wasn't supposed to make us question. They were like, it has to be extreme enough that we're all like, oh, maybe it is true.
Yeah. So Zoe and Emma show up to the apartment, and Zoe is like, what the fuck is going on here? Emma lets go of Zoe's hand and runs to the couch and starts crying. Stabler tells Zoe that they need to ask her some questions about a complaint. Benson asks Emma if she's okay, and Emma tells her that Kate died, and Zoe's like, this is a really bad time.
Yeah.
Now we're at the precinct, and Zoe is in an interview room with Stabler. He shows her the pictures and says they need to talk about them. Zoe says that her and Kate wanted Emma to have a positive bodily image, so they took pictures of her naked and showed her, and I was like, okay.
Yeah, this is where I was like, okay.
Don't like it.
Let's just move on. I get it.
Yeah. And then Stabler's like, are you sure? Because you have her vamped up, posing for the camera or whatever.
Why does she look like a baby Jessica Rabbit in this photo? It's like, Jesus Christ.
And then Zoe's like, if you think these pictures are sexy, then you have a fucking problem, buddy.
Yeah.
And he's like, don't talk to me like that. My wife left. So Stabler continues to go through the images. Zoe is crying and accuses Stabler of thinking she's molesting Emma just because she's a lesbian. Stabler tells her that Emma actually told them that Zoe did something to her, and Zoe does not think Emma would ever say that she molested her. Stabler doesn't say anything back, and Zoe just sobs. Huang and Benson are with Emma, asking her questions. She says that Zoe made her take her clothes off in bed and then touched her. Emma's grandma sits with her as she's talking to Benson. Benny asks where Zoe touched her, and Emma looks up at Grandma, and fucking Wong and Betty shoot a look at each other. You know, they're like, oh, great.
Mm-hmm.
Then Benny asks Grandma to leave so they can have some alone time, and she does. Benson asks Emma where she was touched by Zoe. Emma says everywhere, that Zoe said it would make her feel good, but it made Emma feel bad. Huang asks her if she feels guilty, and Emma says that she knew it was a sin because girls, quote, are not supposed to naked touch other girls. It's wrong. Huang asks Emma how she feels about her mom sleeping in the same bed together, and Emma says it's a sin. It's against nature, and women are supposed to be with men or they go to hell. Benson asks if Emma learned that in school. Emma says her grandma told her, and her grandma also said that Zoe would go to hell for what she did.
So later on, these guys are talking over the whole conversation. Huang tells Stabler that he doubts Zoe molested Emma. Emma's description of the molestation was intellectual and not emotional, which is the usual way children describe the abuse. Huang defends the therapist's recommendation of massage, saying he would do the same. So what they're fucking saying is Zoe massaging Emma was what Grandma used to convince her that something bad happened to her because lesbianism is a sin. She's a girl, Zoe's a girl, and it's this whole fucking dark twisted thing that Grandma fucking Deb is doing.
Yeah.
Trying to convince Emma that something happened to her. So Emma really believes that something wrong happened. It's just a manipulation. Huang thinks Emma is suffering from parental alienation syndrome. Alienation syndrome.
Oh.
Stabler wants clarity while giving us the definition. He's like, oh, I thought PAS was when a couple splits up, Kathy left me, and the mom brainwashes the kids into thinking their dad's a bastard. And Huang's like, yeah, Middle America and Stabler, except it's the grandma turning Emma against her parents. Emma's going along with it because she's manipulated into believing it's true, and her grandma is emotionally abusing her. Over to Benson and Novak later on a walk and talk. Novak thinks what's going on is at least custodial interference and at the most reckless endangerment. Benson thinks that the grandparents will just get a slap on the wrist, but Novak says more will happen if they can prove unlawful imprisonment. But how? The grandparents kept Emma away from her home through making her lie about being abused. The reasoning behind it is because Zoe is gay, which would make what they did to Zoe a hate crime. That's a D felony that could get them 7 years in prison. And Novak tells Benson to arrest the Boyds. All of this is so wild. Like, I don't disagree with how fucked up it is that the grandparents aren't doing this. But when they're talking about the grandparents getting 7 years in prison, Zoe being in a juvenile facility until she's 18, like, these are the most extreme examples. And they're all like, this is how the system works. It's really fucking strict. These fucking white Christian grandparents are not going to get put in prison for 7 years for a hate crime. They're not.
Right.
Anyway, Benson and Stabler.
Hopefully they can use that to get them to.
Oh, yeah. We want it to be like, I'm just saying the reality of the situation. I'm not like, that's a stretch. It's actually fine. Relax, snowflakes. That's not what I'm saying. Benson and Stabler stroll up on Oliver and Deb taking groceries out of their trunk and arrest them for unlawful imprisonment. What? You filled your granddaughter's head with lies to keep her away from her mother. Grandma Deb's like, her mother is dead. Zoe is ruining our granddaughter's life. It's our moral duty to protect her. And Stabler chimes in, try following the 8th commandment. Thou shalt not bear false witness. I'm Catholic too.
Now we're at trial. Zoe takes a stand and says that Emma's grandparents tricked her into saying she was molested. Zoe says she knows that Emma knows it's not her fault and knows that Zoe didn't hurt her in any way. But Emma is just sad all the time now. Her mom died. She's just scared. Emma woke up the other night crying because she had a bad dream where Zoe was taken to jail, and Emma kept calling out for her, but no one could hear her. Decker asks Zoe how long Emma has been in therapy. Zoe says about 6 months since the kids at school started making fun of her for having 2 moms. No one even knew about their home life until Kate's lupus got worse. Decker tells Zoe that she insisted on making her presence known at the school, which caused Emma to be bullied. Like, it's your fault. First of all, okay, this is so insane because Kate was fucking sick, and Zoe had to pick up Emma and be present for school functions. Like, what the fuck are you thinking, Decker?
Right.
Oh, you did it on like, I literally had to pick up the kid from school. What do you fucking want? And then Decker thinks Zoe going to the school was, quote, making a point about being gay. Zoe says that she didn't understand why the school took it how they did, and that it was important to take a stand when she and Kate sued the school.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, I didn't know they were going to be weird about it. And yeah, they tried to kick my kid out, so we sued them. Because duh. Decker asks her if that was more important than Emma's happiness and wonders why they didn't enroll her in another school, and then accuses Zoe of using Emma to fight her battles since they kept her enrolled at the school even though she was so miserable there. Zoe's like, excuse me, our faith is really important to us. This is the best private Catholic school in fucking New York City. Also, Zoe and Kate didn't want Emma to be ashamed that her moms are lesbians. But she does say that if she had to do this all over again, she'd take her out of the school because this was so fucked. Everything got so fucked.
Right. I love how they're mad at her about not having hindsight before it happens. Like, she knew that this is how it would unravel. They're like, if you just stayed in the closet, that would have been a lot easier for everybody else.
Right. And then Decker yells at her. He's like, but you didn't. And because of you, Sean won't walk again. Fucking objection. So he starts crying and says that she'd change it if she could. She made a mistake and apologizes. Later, Grandma is on the stand. She says that Emma was suddenly very unhappy 8 months ago, and she was scared and lonely because of the changes at home, with Kate being sick and Zoe working or at the hospital all the time, and Charlie had to walk her home every day. Grandma and Grandpa asked if Emma could stay at their house after school, and Zoe didn't like it. And then Zoe made Kate write her will. Kate was getting sicker and sicker and sometimes didn't recognize them, and Zoe wanted to make sure she got sole custody of Emma.
Nobody objected to this, but I'm like, that's hearsay. Somebody needs to fucking object. Zoe made Kate write her will. Ugh, shut up, Deb.
Then Decker asks her if she made Emma make false allegations against Zoe. Of course, she denies it. She says that she saw Emma was unhappy and asked her what was wrong. Now we got Novak. She wants her to read the witness signature on Kate's will. It's Charlie's dad's name, Ray Monaghan. Novak says that Kate was lucid enough to have her ex-husband co-sign her will. Dude, it doesn't even seem like the fucking ex-husband is like pissed about any of this.
Right.
I don't know. And then Grandma says that Kate wasn't thinking clearly and was only thinking of Zoe. She only did that to not hurt Zoe, and it wasn't the best home for Emma. Novak asks Grandma Deb if she thinks gay people should be allowed to raise children. She says, ideally, no. I think children should be raised by their father and mother. Get the fuck out of here. Okay, so Novak says that this is why she had Emma lie about being molested. She just thinks it's wrong for a gay woman to raise her granddaughter. And then Grandma says, no. I've done a lot of research and read tons of shit about how Zoe raising Emma will have negative impacts on her because of
the lifestyle.
That
personally was so triggering to me. I've done a lot of research. That rings true on so many levels with
what YouTube channel are you on or whatever they fucking do.
Right. How much information did you Google? I've done a lot of research. You're not in a fucking lab coat with a degree, Deb.
Yeah.
You're fucking Googling your little ass off. It's 2005. Are you at the local library, Deb? Fuck.
Can that little paperclip help you now, Deb?
Any questions? Gays are harmful to children. Oh, paperclip, you are a fucking bigot.
All that is robot jizz. We all know that.
Call back.
So her research has said that like gay women who raise girls, they become promiscuous and confused, and that 48% of kids raised by gay parents are more likely to be molested. What? Novak's like, where the fuck did you hear that? And she's like, my lawyer, Decker, he told me about that. He gave me the information. What?
I'm sorry, what did you just say on the stand under oath?
Oh my God, they panned to his face and he was like, So Novak's like, when did Decker show this stuff to you? It was during the trial in family court, just before she accused Zoe of molesting Emma. So the information that Decker gave her, she read it and it made her look for clues. And when they found the photos, they knew they had to ask Emma what was going on. Novak asks her if Decker told her what kind of questions to ask. Decker is pissed and jumps in and tries to argue that the line of questioning violates attorney-client privilege. And then Novak's like, sorry, bitch. That protects the clients, not lawyers. You dumb idiot. The judge allows the questioning to continue and tells Grandma Deb to answer. Grandma says that Decker told her to be forceful with Emma when asking about molestation because kids that are molested tend to deny the abuse and they have to be led to the truth. Puke. Novak is like, Your Honor. Grandma and Grandpa would have never accused Zoe of molesting Emma had it not been for Decker's involvement. He coached them, and it's not only immoral, it's criminal. And then Decker's like, no. He says he offered advice on how to talk to an abused child. That's it. So they approach the bench. Decker says that Novak has no basis for the allegations she made. And Novak's like, oh, that's so weird because you have a history of representing custody cases where straight clients are fighting for custody against their gay exes. You're out here fucking trying to make a point. Novak calls him out on feeding Grandma and Grandpa anti-gay propaganda before there was even a custody issue because he was gearing up for a fucking fight. She says that he conspired to keep Emma from Zoe, which means he committed a fucking hate crime. Boo, 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 boo. That's the hate crime alarm. Decker calls them ridiculous and tells her she can't prove it. The judge tells Decker that at the very least, it's a serious breach of ethical conduct, so she removes him as counsel and declares a mistrial. Damn, Decker, you bitch.
Damn, Decker.
Damn. What are those, Decker?
got the bright whites, Decker.
They're prison
We're both
flip-flops.
doing damn Daniel, right?
Yeah. Damn, Decker. So we're in Novak's office, and she's speaking with Grandpa and Grandma. She offers them a plea deal in exchange for testifying against Decker in court for manipulating them using faulty research. And she's like, what are you talking about? Novak has all these, like, fucking binders on deck, which is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
She shows them real numbers on gay parents according to the American Sociological Association. Gay parents are definitely not 48 times more likely to molest their kids. And there's literally no proof that the kids don't end up healthy and educated, etc., etc. And then Grandma's like, I don't know about all that. It's the YouTube video I saw. She says that the article she read said differently. Novak tells her that the guy that wrote that article, he was expelled from the American Sociological Association for misrepresenting the statistics. Novak has books on other associations that all agree that kids raised by gay parents are just as healthy as kids raised by straight parents.
Also, no, I'm sorry. I have to say one more thing about Grandma Deb. It shows a low level of intelligence when presented with
new information.
With new information, you are unwilling to take it in or apply it to what you already know or believe.
They lied to us. I'm like, nobody lied to you in science. They just found more information and adjusted.
Right.
What are you nobody's...
More shit's come to light, dude.
Yeah, that's what science is.
Mm-hmm.
Grandpa speaks for the very first time ever. He wants to know why Decker lied to them. Novak tells him it was so that Decker could further his agenda, to use them and Emma as an example to show that homosexuality is damaging society. And then Grandma's like, all we wanted was to protect Emma. And I believe her.
She's just misguided.
Benson knocks on the door. Zoe is there with Emma to see Novak. Benson takes Emma outside to wait. Zoe's like, what the fuck are you guys doing here? Grandpa tells her that they're going to testify against Decker. Grandma apologized. She tells Zoe that they were trying to do what they thought was right for Emma. Zoe's like, I don't believe you and I don't accept your apology. And then Novak's like, hey, Zoe, like they were, taken advantage by Decker. And then Grandma pleads with Zoe, this is my granddaughter. And Zoe's like, I don't care.
Right.
I won't forgive you. And you tried to turn Emma against me and convinced Emma that I molested her, my daughter.
Yeah.
How can I ever trust you again? And then Zoe leaves and takes Emma with her. Benson watches them walk away and it looks like she's going to cry maybe. I don't know. Toyota.
I mean,
her eyes were a little, she was just like, this is fucked. Like,
it's fucked. I feel bad for the grandparents. I feel bad that they've been manipulated to the degree that they believe that this is damaging to their granddaughter, that they would go to the lengths of emotional abuse to keep her away from something that isn't actually hurting her. Like, that is so sad. All of it's very sad. But Zoe is going, you're not safe people, and I have to keep my daughter safe. Period.
Yeah. Toyota.
End
of episode.
Okay. Sharon Bottoms was born February 20th, 1970, and raised in Virginia by her parents Joseph and Pamela K. Bottoms. Mom went by K. There's not a lot to find about Sharon's upbringing. I did find that she had dropped out of high school and worked a series of odd jobs, the kind most of us worked as teenagers, before marrying her boyfriend, Dennis Dowstow. They were only married for a handful of months before divorcing, but in that time, Sharon got pregnant and on July 5th, 1991, gave birth to a baby boy, Kenneth Tyler Dowstow. They called him Tyler. Her mom would watch Tyler for her when she needed help, like grandmothers do. A short time later, Sharon started dating April Wade. Sharon and Tyler moved in with April. The couple had a commitment ceremony because at the time, gay marriage was still illegal. Kay didn't approve of the relationship and filed for custody of Tyler. This was huge. It was being watched closely by gay rights activists and conservative groups. Initially, the case was heard before a juvenile court. Sharon didn't have any representation because, like, on what grounds, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But on April 5th, 1993, custody was awarded to Sharon's mom.
Oh my God.
Sharon was deemed an unfit mother that was putting her child in harm's way. The ACLU got involved and hired attorney Donald Butler, who would represent Sharon pro bono. They appealed and it went before Circuit Court Judge Buford Parsons Jr. Dennis Dowstow testified on behalf of his ex-wife. P.S. He apparently had signed over parental rights, so had no recourse himself against Kay.
Yeah.
Kay herself testified that Tyler referred to April as Dada, claiming this would cause gender confusion for him and he would grow up not knowing the difference between men and women.
Oh my God, I want to fuck. Okay.
How is that even a valid argument? This is her testifying. With what, her fucking opinions with no basis? She said, quote, "I don't care how my daughter lives, but Tyler will be mentally and physically harmed by this. We can take care of ourselves. He can't." She also testified that Sharon lived a lifestyle of partying and Tyler spent most of his infancy with her. Although a 19-20-year-old Sharon did do some of that prior to settling down with April, she had committed to motherhood in a more serious way once the two got together. It had been quite some time since that was any kind of reality.
Yeah.
Not to mention not worthy of losing custody of her son.
Yeah, come on.
If I was a 19-year-old mom, I probably would drop my kid off a lot more often with my mom than I would have being a married mother when I was 31. It was just different. When Sharon was, but this woman argued everything she could to get the custody of her grandson. So she's going to say all this shit. When Sharon was on the stand, she testified that her mother's boyfriend, who lived with Kay, had sexually assaulted Sharon on several occasions starting when she was 12. Her mother denied knowing anything about these attacks. Also, this is nuts. She was asked about physical affection with April in Tyler's presence. Sharon said that, yes, she and April occasionally kissed in front of Tyler. She also testified that she and her fucking partner engaged in sex acts privately, including oral sex, which was considered sodomy. All of this shit is on the stand. She has to testify to all of this. All the shit is being asked about her personal life. Sodomy was a felony in Virginia. It actually wasn't decriminalized until 2014.
What?
Based on this, Judge Parsons upheld the juvenile court decision saying that Sharon's conduct was, quote, illegal and immoral and renders her an unfit parent. So let me go back. She kissed her wife in front of their son and had sex privately with her wife, and that made her an unfit parent. As a result, Sharon was given visitation with her son from Monday morning to Tuesday night every week. She was not allowed to have him at her home or around April. April had no custody rights. So because they didn't have money for a hotel, Sharon would spend the one night a week she got with her son at a friend's house. In 1994, after appealing yet again, a Virginia Court of Appeals unanimously ruled in favor of Sharon to have custody of her son. I got this reasonable summation from a brief that I had found. Quote, "Because the social science evidence indicates that a person's sexual orientation does not bear a relation to that person's fitness as a parent, and because the trial court had before it no evidence that tended to prove that Sharon Bottom's living arrangement with April Wade and their lesbian relationship have harmed or will harm Sharon Bottom's son." So they're like, yeah, this isn't hurting him in any way. She can have her son back. Not so fast. Her mom's lawyers appealed, which froze the custody arrangement. Okay, so they couldn't adjust it in any way, even though it had been ruled in Sharon's favor, because the appeal that her mom made froze it. So Sharon was still only allowed her overnights with Tyler once a week. And in 1995, this went all the way to the Virginia Supreme Court. The decision was 4-3 in favor of Sharon's mom.
What the fuck?
The court stated that the, quote, moral climate of Sharon's home made her unfit. Judge Christian Compton made this statement in defense of the decision. Quote, living daily under conditions stemming from active lesbianism practiced in the home may impose a burden upon a child by reason of the social condemnation attached to such an arrangement. Kay Bottoms was awarded full permanent custody of Tyler, and by 1996, Sharon gave up her custody battle and stopped giving interviews or being in the public eye at all. She had taken this shit all the way to the Supreme fucking Court and was denied custody for being in a relationship with a woman.
Fucking Jesus Christ.
In speaking to the New York Times in one of her final statements, Sharon said, quote, we don't regret this fight, but we feel it's something we shouldn't have to go through. I deserve my baby. I gave birth to him and I want him. All the information about her after that comes from little article clips, social media, nothing that she put out. She eventually married Bill Mattis in 2012 and became stepmother to his 3 children. She also went on to be co-owner of River Ridge Kennels in Richland, North Carolina. I, of course, looked into this place, and they apparently have really great reviews, and people love them and how their dogs are taken care of, and she was just like a big dog lover. Tyler's in his early 30s now and served in the U.S. military. Sharon Bottoms Mattis sadly passed away from cancer at her home in Richlands, North Carolina on January 21st, 2019. She was 48. Tyler wrote this message in memory of his mom following her passing. Quote, yesterday I had to say goodbye to my very first best friend, Sharon Mattis. She always told me, it's okay to cry, baby boy. I just never realized how much I'd need that. I love you, Mom.
I hate everything.
Yeah. It's so heartbreaking.
Yeah.
And disgusting. This is not fucking the legal system did this.
Mm-hmm. I can't. Next. Okay.
Next.
So next week we have season 7, episode 12, Infected. A kid kills a guy that he thinks killed his mom, but it turns into like a huge gun control thing. So great. So great for us.
So great.
Rate and review us. 5 stars, please. Email us at supod@gmail.com. Mail stuff to us if you'd like. P.O. Box 176, Deforest, Wisconsin, 53532. All of our social media is at svupod. You can get merch at svupod.com and tpublic.com. We have a Facebook group called SVUPod Elite Squad, group chat called Walk and Talk, and hashtag Little Bit Loud to find indie pods, or if you are an indie pod, hashtag that so we can find you. Join our Patreon. We got tons of extra content. www.patreon.com/svupod. Call us, leave a voicemail, or text us 1-920-345-7005, 1-920-345-7005.
Love you, bye.
Love you, bye.
She was such a piece of shit in the same breath. I'm like, she was so relatable.
Well, yeah. That's why I loved it. It's reminded me of you. Just kidding. Okay.
You're my best friend.
I'm not being an asshole. That's how I feel.
I'm lucky to have you.
You know what? Who's ready to hustle?
You know what time it is.
To our Elite Squad patrons, Marisa M., Elke H., Tricia S., Emily T., Katarina G., Mary D., Joshua H., Lem, Eliza W., Nikki B., Melanie G., Andrew, Miranda B., Lauren T., Kate H., Kate A., Vanessa, Lex, Shelby K.,
Kimberly L., Bonita R., Maren, Ursula, Catherine M., Kate P., Jessica S., D., Jana M., Tammi J., Bear, Sam D., Neida M.,
Miakatak,
Meg M., Alexis J., Caitlyn S., Kristina D.,
Camille Z., Maggie D., Jessica P., Victoria, Scout G., Melissa M., Desiree R., Monica K., Katie S., Andrea M., Tosh, Andrea H., Aunt Sarah, hi.
What?
What are you doing here?
I didn't know you were here. Just kidding. You're here every week.
Emily D., Kate H., Vern, Catherine B.,
Ariana, Madeline K., Kristen F., Samara B., Amanda P., Mahalia S., Jules K., Julie R., Tracy, Rachel, Kitty Cat.
Meow meow. Ew.
I
hated that.
Carrie M., Leilani J., Alex A., Amelia T., Samantha S., Ariel E., Becky A., Margaret S., Natalie B., Danielle L., Ellie, Catherine P., And Emily... So if you care to find me, look to the western sky, as someone told me lately. Okay, I very excited for Wicked.
Emily O's back?
She's back! Oh my God, she sent a message and she goes, oh my God, you guys, my credit card didn't update or something. I'm still here. And I'm like, I was genuinely like sad. Not to say that, like, cancel your membership whenever you want. Like, zero.
But her name was so fun to do that.
But I loved doing her name stuff.
It's
as someone told me lately, everyone deserves a chance to fly. Tasha, relax. You're not going to be able to sing Defying Gravity because someone told you sing okay occasionally. Don't worry, I won't be one of the people singing in the theater terribly. Nobody wants to fucking hear that. Okay, I'm going to go.
Bye.